Hey everyone, it's Alisha Brashe here at Cosmic Gateway. Welcome to entering into February for 2020, and wow, it's January's certainly been a long, drawn-out month, and it's been really hard going for a lot of people. So I wanted to share with you some of my insights and some of the things that sort of have come to my mind of, where the current energies are at and where it's heading as we move into February for 2020. So you may have seen me blog and post about the different solar cycles and the different sunspots that we've been having. So in the last week or the last week of January, we had two different sunspots from different solar cycles. Now, they last approximately 8 years. So if you think about the last 8 years of your life and the cycles that you've been in, but I also see the sun as as our masculine energy, our masculine center, and very much connected to the solar plexus. And if you think about, moving out of one big long cycle into another, I think it's very indicative of the era that we're moving into. Um, it, to me, it almost felt like, it was a kind of a final push to allow this new energy to sweep through. And it was interesting that they were opposing now, just to sort of backtrack a little bit about um, sun activity and solar flares, something that I've been watching for a number of years. In the beginning, as I was sort of unconsciously, let's say, going through my ascension process, I would have these outbursts of like crazy anxiety and just feeling a lot of pressure build up in my stomach, and I would find that I would be going into um, just mental looping patterns that I just couldn't control. It was very, very uncomfortable, and it would last for a day or two, and then it would subside. And it was around that time that I couldn't sort of see anything in my external reality to make me to define why, or to have any reason why I would experience such a crazy sort of burst of uncomfortable energy. And it wasn't until I started noticing um, the different solar patterns. And so back then, I think it was around 2013, there was a lot of solar activity. It was sort of in the peak of that last cycle. And sure enough, every time there was solar activity, I would feel that sort of build up, and it would be very, very uncomfortable. And I think that's sort of describes what a lot of people have been going through over that last week or that period. And I do see it as a positive influence because it helps us sort of release a lot of our old masculine traits, and also on the collective level. So um, if you go back to the beginning of January, around the 10th, 11th, 12th, where we had all that astrological um, alignments that were really much about sort of the deconstruction of the patriarchal energies and things like that. It's really quite interesting to have those sort of astrological alignments, and then to have what very well could be the last sun activity from the last cycle as we start to enter into this new cycle. So it's sort of having opposing effects, if you will. What I noticed in my journey was, as I started to do more energy work and clearing work, then the sun activity would have a different effect on me. And certainly what it does is it opens and expands our consciousness. But if our consciousness is blocked by limiting beliefs, or the energies of wanting to control certain situations in our life, or having that sort of control element, it kind of brings that up to the surface to be reevaluated, to let go of. So just depending on where you are in your journey, and I think also, if you're quite sensitive to the collective energy, you could be sort of in that push to help release those energies as we're doing that as a collective. So um, very interesting to see what's happening. But I feel like since that has happened, and we've had the other sunspot come through from the new solar cycle, and I think for a lot of people that started to elevate and lighten the energies significantly, and we can start to feel this really kind of beautiful, much more stable, peaceful energy starting to flow through. And I think that that's really just setting the tone for February. um, I think that we're going to start to see the solar activity increase over this year, and I think that that's going to start to help people attain higher levels of consciousness or continue flushing depending on where the individual's at. Um, but these days I find that with the solar activity, it doesn't have that sort of anxious feeling anymore. It sort of puts me into a much more heightened state, a much more connected state. And so I've been, speaking to many people, and they're starting to notice that similar effect. So it's a different type of energy coming through. And um and I think, having a look at and knowing what's sort of happening in those energies and noticing how they affect you individually is very, very important, because we all affected in different ways. Um, and it's just knowing, oh, okay, this is happening. This is my effect. This is the response. This is what's happening in my body, and really connecting in with your own inner process, which is the most important thing. So, um, very, very interesting, but it feels like there's a lot of beautiful, more grounded, it feels very grounded, very stable energies that's starting to filter through. So if you're not quite there yet, just know that it's coming, that energy is starting to come in. And I think throughout February, we're going to start to see this sort of more balanced in that masculine, feminine, that new masculine, new feminine rising sort of energies and coming in. So very excited. There will be 2 transmissions this month. So on the 2-2 portal, I'm doing a sound bath with Katie Jane. So she's going to be leading that with her crystal bowls and tuning forks, and creating that sound environment where I'll be guiding through a process of real soul integration. So if you're keen to join us, I'll put the details in the description box below, and then followed by a second transmission on the 22nd. So the 22nd of the 2nd. So the 222 portal, which will be more around divine partnerships and soul mission and bringing those energies through, which I think is going to really set the tone for this year for a lot of people sort of coming together and joining forces and doing those collaborations in those divine partnerships. But I think right now on the planet, it's very important that those energies come in and stabilize within us, and then we can stabilize within our partnerships, within our divine connections. So it is very, very exciting. So love for you to join if you feel called, if you feel guided to. The details will be in the description box below. So I'm going to go in. We've got some new artwork for the intuitive insight guidance for this fortnight. Um, and I have created some extendeds for these ones, so they'll be in the individual on the YouTube link if you're interested in getting more information of when I'm actually creating the artwork and the information that's coming through in correlation with the symbols itself. So um, another thing is on my, I've created the Cosmic Gateway Soul Tribe, which is the subscription. So it's a small donation per month, and that's where I will be doing intermittent updates and card reads. So every fortnight will still continue as it has done, and then the in between I'll be doing it on that subscription. So if you feel called to join that, would love to have you over there. And it's also a place where we can sort of come and invite, really invite people to ask questions, so I can do more personalized individual, guidance or insights or information, and just a place of sharing and connecting. So I think that's about all for now. I will be going away during February, but I do have openings for sessions if you're looking to have energy alignment sessions or divine partnership sessions. I will be open for the next week or so, and then I'll sort of temporarily be away or offline. So yeah, connect in if you feel guided to have an individual session. the details will also be in the description box below. So let's get into it. This will be card A, this one here. Oh, try and get the light on it. Card A, tune in, see which one's speaking to you. And then we have B, this will be card B here. And then lucky last, we have C, so this card here. So tune in, I will put the individual links below, and I'm wishing you an absolutely superb February. Much love, bye.